Thank you, it is an honor to be here back in Corpus Christi, and Chewy, an honor to be with you. And I don't know whether you're my favorite Marine or not, but you're up there close. So thank you for your service. Those of us who served during the Vietnam period, and thank you, brother. Connie, see you. Lozano, my man. It's good to see you, and thank you for being here today. Sharp was here, and he texted me and he said that he had all the crowd warmed up for me. So still taking credit after all these many years, Killebrew. He's good to do that. So, but I know that he is getting around to all of the campuses and greatly respects what you all do here. And the most important role that you play in education from the standpoint of our community colleges, our technical institutions, these four-year institutions, particularly in cities like Brownsville or in UT Pan Am. I mean, just the powerful impact that these institutions are having, Ugo, are really making a big impact. So this is. And to be here for this occasion and for this event is really pretty cool when you think about it. I read a little blurb, and frankly I don't even know where it came from, but it basically said, even those in the Northeast are having to admit that there's something special going on in Texas. So. To come to an event where you have this wide array of industries that are very critical to the future of the Lone Star State, and I'm talking about our film and music industry, and particularly inside of that is this emerging video game and interactive media companies. Our travel industry, of course, Corpus Christi, and being one of the cities that we really promote that people from outside of the state of Texas, for that matter, people within the state of Texas who are looking for a beautiful place to come and spend some time. The Texas Riviera is pretty hard to beat, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about each of these industry sectors in a moment. But they all represent communities that have to be creative, they have to be adaptive, and they have to be innovative if we want to continue to see the growth that we've had in this state over the course of the last decade in particular. Luckily, Texas is chock full of innovative and creative people. I made the comment to Mike Shaw, who's one of your former residents here, earlier today, that why do you have to have a national search when you're looking to fill a new position in the state of Texas? We've got as many innovative and creative people as there is in the country. So, certainly fun and thoughtful to go look outside of the state of Texas, but thank you very much. We can hold our own. And when you think about the pioneer spirit and the pioneer origins of Texas and this state's character, when you think about the initial oil strikes that occurred early in the 20th century to the heart of the space race and NASA, as a matter of fact, I think I'm correct in this, the first words that were spoken when from the moon was Houston. Wasn't New York, wasn't LA, wasn't Boston, great cities that they are. It was Houston. Just time and time again, it's Texas that's on the cutting edge of ideas that are merged with that can-do attitude that I happen to think is unmatched anywhere else on the globe. If something hadn't been done, it's only because a Texan hadn't tried it yet. And the reason why is simple. We have created a very fertile climate where innovators are free to create and nurture their ideals and keep government out of the way as best we can. And the results have been rather overwhelming, somewhat even difficult to believe, especially if you're from California. Now, I don't mean to pick on California, but they just make it so easy. We have led the nation in exports for the last 10 years. We've been the job creation epicenter for a decade. We're consistently the top destination for individuals who are moving from one state to another. Some might call that Texas swagger. I just call it the facts. And the facts have been piling up in Texas' favor now for some time. And don't just take my word for it. Take a look at CEO Magazine that named Texas for the 8th year in a row the best state in the nation to do business. Forbes Magazine. You go through and look at all of the different business publications that just last week Forbes picked the best cities in America for job creation, large, medium, and small cities. And at the top of all of those lists were Texas cities. And as a matter of fact, I think 3 of the top 5 were Texas cities. And in the mid-range and in the smaller side, all Texas cities that were dominating that list. And the Wall Street Journal, CNBC, this goes on and on of declarations that you all have done it right in Austin, Texas, Chewy. And it's not that government's the be-all, end-all. And Connie, government doesn't create jobs. And JM, you know as well as anybody, being a small businessman, that it's you and it's your type of innovation and risk-taking. But you have to have the right environment. You can't overtax and overregulate and overlitigate. And that's what we've been able to do in this state, creating from March of 2011 to March of 2012 some 300,000 net new jobs in the public sector, in the private sector during that 1-year period of time. More than any other state in the nation. Matter of fact, nobody else even close. And again, it isn't bragging, that's just facts. And I tell folks, I said, it ain't bragging if you can do it. So job seekers, job creators, they're coming to Texas, and they're coming here because they do know that there's still a land of opportunity in this country. It's called Texas. They're coming here because they know we've made the Lone Star State the best place for job creation in America. We've made a place where employers know that they're safe to invest in business, watch it grow. Small businesses is one of the reasons when we talk about next legislative session and making that small business tax permanent, so that businesses like yours, JM, can have the knowledge that they're not going to have to come to Austin every 2 years and ask for the continuation of that small business tax, that we put it in and we make it permanent. And I really get intrigued with sometimes that mentality by folks who may not be from Texas, that somehow or another, Texas isn't intellectually superior. As a matter of fact, it's inferior, culturally and otherwise. And I guess the people at Apple just didn't hear that. When they decided and announced last month 3,600 new jobs in Texas, the largest expansion of Apple outside of California in history, they were coming to their Austin campus. Cutting-edge companies like eBay and Facebook and Electronic Arts are taking roots right here in our state. Caterpillar coming into Victoria and the expansion that they're making there into Seguin. Every engine manufactured in the world that has Caterpillar can put right below it, made in Texas. Every engine that Caterpillar will make in the world. That's what's happening in our state. And those companies have come because innovation is, those are innovation-oriented companies, every one of those that I've talked about. And they're fueled by the innovation and the intellectual capability in this country and in this state. Sometimes, excuse me, I didn't mean to get, Texas really isn't its own country. It's a whole other country, isn't it? That's right. That's an ad campaign, and it works. Don't mess with Texas, and we're a whole other country. And you just don't. With all due respect, you don't see that in other places. There's this pride of who we are and how we got here, and how we're continuing to express our innovative and independent ways. And Texas has been a player in the movie industry since its earliest days, and you think about Wings. That was the first film to ever win the Oscar for Best Picture, filmed in the state of Texas. Yeah, and all the way up to current pictures that are being filmed in the state of Texas now. The Lion Game, the TNT's upcoming Dallas reboot, and it's going to premiere in June. I mean, just right in Austin, Texas, out at the old airport. I mean, just some fascinating projects that are being done in the state of Texas. Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. I mean, how wrong would it have been for Dallas to have been filmed in New Zealand? I mean, how wrong would that have been? J.R. and Bobby Ewan in Vancouver, it just wouldn't have worked. Producers choose Texas, and they choose Texas not only because we got some incredible scenery and extraordinary diversity of that scenery, and we got a legacy of great films, but they also get the benefit of this very experienced and well-regarded crew base that call Texas home. And that's one of the things that we've talked about through the years, is making sure that we keep the film industry here and we support it with our incentive programs, so that those lighting experts, the caterers, the gaffers, the directors, the set designers, all of those individuals can live, because we got a great cost of living here by and large in this state, and they get to live here and be a part of this, and then the next production, they will know where to come. And look, it's more than having just the most attractive locations. We want producers to leave money on the table, if that's what's required in other states, to come here, because they know that the best crews, the best resources, the best opportunities are in the state of Texas. And we really made progress towards that goal. Senator, again, you and your colleagues have worked on an incentive program to put it into place to get us. We don't have to have the best incentive program, but we got to be in the game. We got to be telling people, listen, we want you here. That's the reason that our film incentive program and our enterprise fund, our emerging technology funds, have been so successful as we've gone forward. And those investments have paid huge dividends. And I want to share with you just some numbers. In 2011, the University of Texas did a study that indicated for every dollar that was spent in the moving image industry incentive program, that's our film incentive program, we generate $19 in private sector economic activity. 19 to 1. Listen, I'm an animal science major from Texas A&M, but I get it. That is a good return on investment. And we continue to play a very significant role, and I hope a growing role, in the more established forms of media. And we're going to continue to encourage development in the newer media types of enterprises, particularly in the video games. I think I'm right in this, that the video game industry creates 3 times the economic impact that the film industry does. I mean, getting electronic arts here and other of those in the video gaming business is huge. And one of the reasons they come here is because, as a state, we've constantly tried to improve ourselves, and it's competition works. It doesn't make any difference whether you're Corpus Christi competing with Houston or Austin or San Antonio, or whether you're an athletic team or whether you're a small businessman. Competition will make you stronger. And it's that spirit of competition that drives us as a state to be constantly improving ourselves, to putting programs into place, analyzing what works, what doesn't work, to make it harder for anybody to beat us, no matter what that may be. Game developers want to be a part of an economic success as much as any other industry. And we have 167 game development companies in the state now, employing nearly 4,800 Texans. That ranks us second to California. And you know me, I hate being second to California in anything. So we've got our work cut out to do, and we've got to continue to show those folks about why they want to be here. And going back to that spirit of competition, you can bet we're going to work to climb up to the #1 spot in that piece of data that I've shared with you. And we got incredible growth potential in Dallas and Fort Worth and Corpus and San Antonio and Austin. And to meet that demand for that growth, there are 24 Texas colleges and universities that are currently offering video game design and development programs. The Guildhall at SMU is already, they're a worldwide acclaimed program. Development programs are also sprouting up at Baylor and UT Austin. Texas A&M's Department of Visualization, they call it their Viz Lab. It's rapidly developing as one of the finest in the world. And thanks to all of these efforts, we're seeing a solid pool of video game programmers beginning to populate our state. And as I said, it's no small industry. Some $25 billion in annual revenue. I mean, this is serious money. So young people who are coming out of these programs are going into very high-wage jobs. And the explosion of social gaming, mobile gaming, I mean, this number is just going to continue to rise, and Texas needs to be right at the epicenter of that. So our Moving Image Industry Incentive Program also plays a key role in attracting more businesses our way, and we've begun to increase the amount of the grants that we're going to be awarding to get more developers into the state. So, you know, we got this talented group of young and savvy entrepreneurs that are out there, and they understand the gaming culture, and we want Texas to be even a bigger part of it. So, and that's good for everyone, but more importantly, it's good for Texas. Now, while Texas does look good on the big screen, you can enjoy the benefits of our talented developers, whether you got your smartphone out playing Words with Friends. There are some people who may want to even experience our state in person. And that's where we use I think all of these different forms of entertainment to bring people in person to our state to augment our travel industry. Preliminary numbers show that travel in Texas in 2011 was up by 5%. More than 208 million people crossed the boundaries of Texas to come visit the state that year, and total travel spending $63.4 billion. That's the highest amount of travel spending we have ever recorded in Texas history. So the international numbers aren't out yet, so those will be an addition too. But we do know that the country as a whole had 62 million international visitors, and you can bet that Texas got a good share of those individuals. To give you an idea of what kind of numbers we get from international visitors, in 2010, about 7.4 million people, international travelers came to Texas, spending $4.3 billion. So you can see what it's like when Texas continues to be this really intriguing place that people want to come and they want to visit. They come to the North Padre, they see all of the beauties that this state has to offer. And for that, we're indebted to men and women in this audience. Again, Senator and his colleagues and I know that this doesn't happen because we make it happen. It happens because we try to create an environment where private sector individuals know they can risk their capital and have a good return on their investment. Then we get out of the way and let the private sector do what the private sector does best, which is create the jobs, which in turn create the wealth. And so we've got a great story to tell in this state. And now we have all of these different venues of which to tell it. And I just want to thank all of you for being here today, because Todd in particular, I want to say thank you for kind of instigating this and making it happen. It's a great privilege for me to get to serve with you and to have been a partner with you, as you have continually reminded people that Corpus Christi and the Texas Riviera is one of the most beautiful, active, and economically sound parts of our state, and you have a great team of people to work with here. So this is an exciting time, I think, for the industry. And I happen to believe that we're just going to have continued success as we go forward. And Texas is going to be on the forefront. I mean, there are so many fascinating things happening in this state. For instance, November, I'll wrap up with this, November the 18th in Austin, Texas will be the first ever, but the first of 10 in a row, Formula One races. F1 is coming to Texas. That is a big deal. They are building a site-specific track there. There will be more corporate CEOs in Austin, Texas on or around the 18th of November than anywhere else in the world. You will not be able to get a hotel room in Corpus Christi on the 17th and 18th and 19th of November would be my bet, because there will be people staying here and driving and or flying that far away to be able to participate in one of the great international events. I mean, this is substantially bigger than a Super Bowl from an economic standpoint. People from all over the world are going to, for maybe the first time in their life, South by Southwest brings in all of the acts to Austin. Again, it seems like Austin is an epicenter for a lot of this, but there's concentric circles of influence that go out from there. And it just shows you what's happening in this state. Because people had the courage to put into place tax and regulatory policy that allowed Texans to keep more of what they work for. I go back to, I think that is the reason that you're seeing this expansive growth. I'm going to wrap up and tell you one quick story about cultural arts and why that is so important to what we're talking about here today, and why what you, Chewy, and your colleagues have done in Austin, Texas get credit for this, because it was you. It was the people who understood that if you don't overtax, you don't overregulate, you don't overlitigate, that wealth will be created and the private sector will spend that in the appropriate way. In 2001, I hadn't been the governor maybe 6 months, and we got the call, Boeing is going to move their corporate headquarters either to Chicago or to Dallas-Fort Worth. We were ecstatic. The idea that we were going to be able to draw a corporate industry leader like Boeing, a venerable name in the aviation industry, to Texas was just powerful. It was only 165 people. It was their corporate headquarters, which 165 is still a nice number, but in the grand scheme of things, this wasn't earth-moving in the number of people that were coming. It was the cachet of bringing that corporate headquarters. Long story short, we didn't have the tools and we didn't have the organization, we didn't have the expertise in economic development that we do today. And they chose Chicago. Well, we came back, we regrouped, and as you'll remember, Chewy, we came back with the Texas Enterprise Fund. We passed some sweeping tax and regulatory and legal reforms in that 03 session of the legislature. And that put us on this track that we're still riding upwards today. About a year and a half after that Boeing decision, through a knowledgeable third party, came the information that one of the reasons, and a very powerful reason, that Boeing chose Chicago was because the spouses of the decision makers on that board didn't think they had the cultural arts that those individuals would be comfortable with, and Chicago did. Now, I'm not going to argue today whether that was right or wrong in 2001, but here's what I do want you to think about. Fast forward a decade. Fort Worth has built a museum of modern art. They built the Bass Symphony Hall, one of the finest symphony halls in the world. Dallas is completing their third performing arts facility. That's the Meyerson, the AT&T, and now the Perot. Nasher's Sculpture Gardens relocated to Dallas. The American Film Institute moved out of California to Dallas during that decade. San Antonio is in the process of building a performing arts facility. Austin, the little poor government and university town, right? The Long Center of Performing Arts, the Blanton Museum of Modern Art. In Houston, Texas tonight, there are more theater tickets for sale than any other city in America outside of New York City. That's happened in a decade. How quickly government policies truly can make a difference. Because if you'd raised the taxes, if you'd have made the regulatory climate more difficult to work their way through, If we hadn't passed that legal reforms in 2003 and then again this last session of the legislature with loser pay, businesses would not have moved here and the wealth would not have been created. But as it is, we let the private sector keep more of what they made. They invested in museums and in performing arts facilities and in the film industry and in all of these other ways that the private sector invested in the cultural arts. Hard for anybody to legitimately downgrade this state today on its cultural arts. As a matter of fact, we use it as a major hook to bring people here. That quality of life issue that we've known about for a long time. And now, on the 18th of November, there are going to be people from all over the world who get a little taste of Texas. And some of those people will decide to make Texas their home from now on. God bless you, and thank you all for letting us come and be a part of this today.